Sergeant Vega a little bit earlier, the letter of determination, these conditions. So I'm very unclear what the appellant meant, because he appealed numerous conditions saying that he didn't like them or didn't think they were clear enough. So I don't understand what he's saying he didn't have a chance to look at, because they're all part of the determination. And the file was always available for public review during the appeal period, during, afterwards. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm double checking right now to make sure every single one is in there, because, it is possible that sometimes conditions are similar to overlook something, but as far as I'm aware, they're all the conditions are there. And have been since the letter was determined.
Commissioner Marquez, and so I'm being kind of redundant, and so those conditions were always available for the appellant to view. There's nothing.
The letters from the council office were available in the file as soon as they were included in the file. So you always have the opportunity to come to City Hall, even when it's under adjustment, and look and see what's in the record. And then I included them into my determination, so they're clearly in here. There's nothing that happened yesterday other than this licensing information. That's the only thing that's happened. There's nothing about conditions or anything like that has happened in the past day.
Commissioners, any additional questions?
This is Commissioner Yao, just to clarify the process that involves an appeal. When a resident or entity appeals, they must submit with them the original determination letter. For us, it concludes that the appellant has seen the conditions dated March 18th. That is an administrative.
Okay, so if there are no additional questions, we're going to go into the public comment. We have over 30 public comment cards, and each of the presenters will have 1 minute to present. Now, you can choose to yield your time to somebody so that you can extend the time to that person, or you can speak using your 1 minute. I am going to call the persons in the order that they submitted their card. But if you want to yield your time to another person, please go ahead and say that in the microphone, and I'll look for their card and remove it from the stack. So we are going to start with the group that is supporting the appeal. And we're going to start with Mr. John Menchaca. And again, please state your name for the record and also your address. If you choose not to give your address, that's fine as well. And it'll be 1 minute. It will be timed. There will be no exceptions, because one exception leads to another, and we'll be here all night, and we don't want to do that. Thank you.
Okay, folks, you want me to restate my name?
Yes.
The first name is John, last middle name Manuel, so last name is Menchaca. Folks, I'm here today on this particular appeal. Just for the record, and for 7-Eleven, I'm for positive business in the community, and so I want that to be clear. What I'm really opposed is any more alcohol being served in the community. And the facts are this. Let me tell you, you're talking about a personal case here. Alcohol does kill. Statistically, we know that it does kill. And I can tell you, personally, my family, we grew up in Lincoln Heights. We immigrated to Lincoln Heights in 1974. In 1976, my family, we lost a sister, only 19 years of age, due to the gang activity in the area. Now with LAPD, I can give them some homework there in 1976. I do remember as a kid when
Sorry, sir. 1 minute is up, and I know it's a compelling story, but I need to keep with the 1 minute.
Wow. Let me tell you, the facts are this: my father, losing this loved one of ours, which is my sister, when he had depression for many years. My sister, who was with my other sister, was with her when she got shot and killed by gang members. The results were this: it was the alcohol, the party they were doing. They were driving through a street, a quarter of a mile from the Eatlake facility. And they found out that alcohol, it was there with beer bottles and everything. That was one of the major driving forces that actually drove these gang members, took them over the edge to start shooting. Therefore, yes, I do have some. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Frank Wada, please.
Frank Wada, Lincoln Heights, 2038 Worthing Street, board member of the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council, board member of the CPAD, he's a white member. I'm not speaking for the council. I guess I am sort of for the board of CPAD because they have complied with the no increase. I have only 3 major items of concern on this. I want to stress that this is a gang injunction area. It's the whole gang. I mean, we have 3 gangs, and it's a gang injunction area. I mean, that's got to be stressed. Of course, we pushed for no extra alcohol in Holland division, but now we're increasing on Broadway. So now we got an extra outlet on Broadway. And I am talking about the sensitive uses in the area, the schools, the churches, the rehab center. So those are the major points that I would say to sustain the appeal in terms of not allowing the alcohol. So this is a strategy. I'm going to repeat it on the second public comment that they've done. They come in and say, no, we're not going to, once they hear about people against their proposal for alcohol, they automatically withdraw it. A year ago, they said that they can run their operation without the alcohol. 14% of the base sales is on that, so I don't see them increasing hardship.
Thank you, Mr. Wada. Next speaker, Kimberly Rono. And the next speaker after Kimberly is Judy. Judy Hampton. I'm sorry. What? Sorry about that. You'll be the next speaker.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Kimberly Rano, and I'm 17 years old, and I go to Sacred Heart High School. I am here because I am in disagreement of the 7-Eleven having alcohol. Being a teenager and living in Lincoln Heights, I don't want to see any teenagers consuming alcohol or children from Little Flower and other kids getting hurt. This is really important for me and my community because it's what... I don't want to see any more crimes committed by drunk people. I really hope that you think about it for the children and their families.
Thank you, Ms. Rono. After Judy is going to be Ted. If you can, to move it faster, Ted, if you can prepare your statements. Ted Juarez.
I am Judy Hampton, and I'm a property owner in the area we're talking about, Lincoln Heights. I have tenants, little families that live in the area, and I think it's, had they known about this hearing and not been working in the afternoon, like most of us are, been able to attend this hearing. To me, it's just a no-brainer that you would not bring light like this into a community that's already been impacted by the gang activity and the sensitive use that's already clearly been identified. I don't understand what the big deal is or why you took the carrot. But the community, by your own admission, has both voiced their opposition to this. The alcohol, selling alcohol and places open late at night is just a magnet for the wrong type of element for a community that we want to build, which is a family community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ted Juarez, followed by Desvaldet Shadon.
Hi, my name is Ted Juarez, Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council, Lincoln Park Advisory Board, community activist. Yes, I'm against the 7-Eleven. They came to us a year ago saying that they wouldn't sell alcohol within a 10-year period. And I don't think within 9 months to a year they came back and said that they couldn't make it. If they knew this from the start, why did they open up business? I know it's expensive. I know it costs money to open a store, something like $450,000 or more. And also I'm against because the schools, the kids are influenced by alcohol. Just because they don't have to be of age, you can get somebody else to buy alcohol. And I'm totally against it. And they concern the gang injunctions that are, Eatlake gangs, and they do hang out after them. And most of the people that are in support of this, the alcohol, they don't even live in Lincoln Heights. We live in Lincoln Heights. That's our community, So we fight for our community. We want it to be safe for our people and our kids, okay? Thank you.
And followed Teresa Martinez, I'm sorry if I butchered names, Martinez. So it's first Tesfaldet and then Teresa.
Yeah, my name is Tesfaldet Asgalum. I'm the priest and the pastor at Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Lincoln Heights, a few blocks away from where the 7-Eleven is supposed to be purchased in the liquor license. I think, why are we saying 249 is the magic number? Why can't it be 248? Why not 247? Why can't we be thinking of reducing instead of saying, even staying with the same number? And now we're saying, well, we're staying the same number. It's okay. Why is it okay? Lincoln Heights is going to be more liquor license in our area. Had it been in the same area where the original license is going to be purchased, why can't it be the next door? What's happened with that liquor license? What do they do? Why are they losing it? Why can't it just be gone? Why do we have to purchase an expired license or a license that is, not expired, but a license that is not in use? So, we're losing the point here. Why are we don't want any liquor license in Lincoln Heights, period. And the school, the church, and everybody involved, the youth, you just heard the teenager. We're concerned of our youth without mentioning even the other aspects of the law enforcement. Thank you so much. I do reject the grant of purchase.
Thank you, sir. Teresa Martinez? Marquez, I am so sorry. Sometimes, sorry. And then followed by Lupe Guillen. Sorry, Ms. Teresa Marquez.
Thank you. My name is Teresa Marquez, no relation to Mr. Marquez. I've been here several times already. I am president of the Boyle High Stakeholders Association, and we work on improving the quality of life in our community. I'm here because of the liquor license. Now, are we going to start playing musical chairs with 249 liquor licenses in this area? Spare me this thought that we're just going to keep 249 and just move them around. Come on, we need to reduce those 249 liquor licenses in Hollaback area, Boyle Heights area, and our neighbors. Now, the sad part is that our community is not educated, is not informed in regards to alcohol. I belong to the Marine Institute, the alcohol watchdog, and let me tell you, their research on children, that if a child walks by any kind of advertisement of liquor until he's 14 years old, let's say going to school, going to church, or whatever, that child will start drinking at 14 years old. And you could verify this if you want to. But this is what we're giving our community. Please. The state of California clearly on the Caldera bill states. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have Lupe Guillen, and the final speaker will be Carlos Morales.
Hi, my name is Lupe Guillen. I'm a former Lincoln Heights member for 7 years, and I'm a representative of Lincoln Park. I lived in Lincoln Heights for 40-something years, and when the 7-Eleven came to us in the neighborhood council, they did promise that they wouldn't have a liquor store or sell any kind of liquor. My main thing, I was excited to have a 7-Eleven in Lincoln Heights, but I also asked them if they would hire Latinos, because on Daly Street, a lot of people were complaining that there was people that they couldn't understand. My other concern is that as a community advocate, I've been getting comments from the community that when they go to the 7-Eleven now, right there on North Broadway, a lot of people get tickets because, all due respect, officers, I love you all, they get tickets because they take up all the parking, and these people going to go grab a movie or grab something at 7-Eleven, and they get tickets for parking. I know you're not supposed to park in the handicap, but because they take up all the parking, they're getting ticket, and there's not really too much to park, and there's a lot of business there. Another thing I want to say, since they say they don't have the money because of the liquor stores and all that, then why do they want to build another one in Lincoln Park when you've got 8 liquor stores, starting from Lanzo's, Daly, Cabrera, Mike's, Laro's Bar, S&M, Fiesta, Lincoln Park? To me, it's like they're suppressing our youth, and I don't want that in my neighborhood. Also, I feel bad for a lot of these Latinos that get hired by them and to burn our raza. That's all.
Thank you. Followed by Ralph.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for your time. My name is Carlos Morales, and my comments are very simple. It's about integrity and public service. I have worked in this community over the years with LAPD, and I respect the men and women of LAPD. This was very difficult for me to come up here today. One of the things that I said, I work with many captains through the Hollenbeck Division, Captain O'Vera, Captain Chow, Captain Nieto, Smith, and various others. And I asked myself, would these captains come out and change what they said about how dangerous this corner, this intersection is? I showed a videotape to this young lady. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. How could LAPD say that this is a gang injunction area? Why is it a gang injunction area? Because there's crime, there's murders, there's tagging. Now they're saying that this is a safe area? I'm sorry, that is not true. If it is true, then remove the gang injunction today. You're not going to be playing games, political games. Yesterday, Councilman Reyes was at the park at a grand opening telling everybody this park is going to be a sanctuary for kids. Well, how safe is it going to be if we're going to have alcohol across the street? Quit playing games with the community.
Mr. Ralph Guerrero.
My name is Ralph Guerrero. I'm a Korean War veteran. I was born and raised in Lincoln Heights 83 years ago. I'm here in defense of nearly 6,500 school children in 7 schools, one located 1,000 yards from there and 1 mile away. We have a lady friend, 85 years old, who was gang raped and left with a broken nose and ribs. She'll never forget that night. Enough is enough. Whether it's alcohol or drugs, they're both dangerous. Let's make Lincoln Heights safe, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before I continue, I know that sometimes we get confused about, checking the box for proposal or against proposal. So it's okay if, when your name is called and you're for or against, just go ahead and state whether you're for or against, because there might be some people that are for the proposal to appeal, but may have put it the other way. It's kind of complicated, right? So the next one that I'm going to call is Jose Aguilar.
Hello, Commissioners. How are you doing? My name is Jose Aguilar. I'm a member of the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council. I'm going to give you my experience on the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council. 7-Eleven has lied and misrepresented facts. They first came to us telling us that it was going to be a dry store. Now it's not. Then they came back telling us that the liquor license was going to come from the Hollenbeck area, and we found out it came from Bonnie Bray. And I exposed the fact that it came from Bonnie Bray, Rampart area. I exposed it to Anita Ortega. I exposed it to the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council. At the hearing, these facts that the license was coming from outside the district was the facts of that hearing. We presented our facts. All of a sudden, outside of a public hearing process, the facts have changed. Now it's within Hollenbeck area. The fact, I'm contesting that because we need a public hearing to review the facts. And the fact that you might approve this outside of a public hearing process, and the fact that this was done through closed doors, back doors, smoke-filled rooms, and not in a public hearing process is an affront to both the neighborhood council process and the public hearing process. So what I'm asking you to do is there's two articles in La Opinion, there's 2 articles in The Voice, there's an article here on this issue here in Noy, which I'm going to submit for the record, and what I'm telling you is that 7-Eleven has misrepresented the facts. They have lied to us, they have acted in bad faith, and I'm telling you this as Lincoln Heights Council member, that they have acted in bad faith. So what will you do to corporations that come to the community, lie and misrepresent facts, which are very important to us because the fact of importing a license and the fact that whether the license is purchased in the community, well, okay, fine. So I'm going to submit this for the record, and I want to let you know that you need to uphold the integrity of the public hearing process, because when they have a change of facts and the backroom deals, that has to be done in a public hearing, not in backroom deals.
Thank you, sir.
Who do I submit this article to?
Please,
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, now I'm going to reach into the stack against the appeal, and like I said, some of you might be actually for the appeal. But the first name that I have here is Ernest Sanchez Sr., followed by Eva Castillo. Mr. Sanchez?
Yeah. I want to give my time to Ernest Sanchez. Okay.
Great, thank you. Ernest, did you also submit a card?
Yes.
Okay, you can speak for 2 minutes. Sure, please, come on up. And please say your name again and your address.
Ernest Sanchez, 424 East Avenue 39. Commission, a decision has been made according to the law. Unless there has been some breach, you must uphold the recommendation of your staff. Deny the appeal. You have a business that has been at the location for 2 years, starting next month. They maintain a clean store inside and out. It is well lit. They sell good products, and they have been involved with the community. They hire residents from the area, and they contribute to neighborhood organizations. But what happens if they are denied their liquor license, which they anticipate to be about 15% of their sales, which in turn will increase their overall sales by 35%? And how will it affect the neighborhood? There are liquor stores in the area now that have been there for decades. They have been grandfathered through the years, bypassing standards, laws, and conditions that is commonplace for applicants today. These stores still sell single bottles of liquor at the liquor store at a higher price. They are slow to remove graffiti. Local gangsters, congregate around the area. Now compare this to the 7-Eleven. They have agreed to the conditions. No single sale of bottles of liquor. Respond to the graffiti quickly, which they do now anyway. Limited hours of sales of liquor to be some of the conditions. If the permit is allowed, competition will abound. Which location would you go to? Which one would you frequent? The higher price and lower quality foods, or the better price and better foods? Simple logic. There are a number of liquor stores that have no conditions to control them, but yet you have a store here that is more than willing to go through a review every 3 years because they're going to follow the rules.
we're going to go with Eva Castillo and then followed by Selig and us.
My name is Eva Castillo, and I'm not speaking for my name. I live at 46 Street, which is above the 7-Eleven. I like this 7-Eleven because it's a good business. We have about 5 businesses that are depleted in our area because people who are willing to go against them. The 7-Eleven has done a wonderful job of this. I am a neighborhood captain of the LAPD. I know what's going on Eatlake and what doesn't go on in Eatlake. Sacred Heart is a religious area that has come, and Mr. Pacheco is part of the religious group, and they do sell liquor at the carnivals, and they sell liquor at the gyms and get together. I don't see their objection here. If I want to buy a beer, I want to know where I want to go where I want to go to buy a beer. I don't want anybody to tell me I cannot buy it. Thank you.
Sure. Do you have the name of that person? Who do you want to give your time to? No, I think that's kind of violating that. It's not what the intention was. So we'll go ahead and continue on with Robert Granados, please.
I defer to Robert.
Okay, Robert Rodriguez, please. Is it Dominguez? Robert Dominguez, so you have 2 minutes.
My name is Robert Dominguez. I live on 2464 Eatlake Avenue, Apartment E. I'm an Eatlake gang member. I'm 42 years old. Okay, then. I got bruised. I've been shot, stabbed, cracked up there in Eatlake. I know what I'm telling you. Since 7-Eleven's been up there, there's no, you can even ask Captain Ortega, there hasn't been a major shootout up there at Eatlake. If they leave, it's going to be a nightmare. I can talk because I've been to prison. I've been through all that already. I support 100% 7-Eleven because if you go, they're always there for either taking the rest, using the restroom, drinking a coffee. If you go at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're right there. If they see the LAPD right there, there's no way they're going to go up there and start shooting. Now, if you live between Hancock, Eastlake, Gates, Alta, if you go up there and talk to all the community, I guarantee you, they feel safe since 7-Eleven's been there. I don't know why so much people are here that they're opposed to it. They don't even live up. I live up Eastlake. I've been living up there for 19 years. And I seen the worst up there. Yeah, there's still graffiti and all that. But I don't know what's wrong with those people, man. I feel safe. You know, I could be in trouble with what I'm saying right now because, you know, they're recording me. Well, you know what? I don't care. I got my grandkids out there. I feel safe going to McDonald's, taking my grandkids to McDonald's, to 7-Eleven, to the donut shop. I'm ready to let you know, man, that, you know, they help us out a lot. They help the football team. They give water to everybody. If they leave, it's going to be a nightmare. I could promise you guys that. I think even the LAPD could probably let you guys know about that. Let's support this, you know. There's a lot of people right here that don't even live in Indian Heights. Are coming in and talk that they know Eastlake, that they know Eastlake. And like I'm going to double check right now, you can even double check with the captain. Since 7-Eleven's been there, sir, there hasn't been not even a single shootout or a killing between Hancock to Lincoln Park Avenue. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I just heard a move. I'm going to ask that person to leave. If I hear it once more, I don't think that's the spirit of the commission hearing. So please respect the commission hearing that we are having today. The next speaker that I have here is, and forgive me if I don't spell it or don't say correctly, Genevieve Granados, followed by Baldwin Coward.
My name is Genevieve Granados. I live at 2446 State Street. I live 2 blocks away from the 7-Eleven. I'm in favor of 7-Eleven. Since they've been there, it's cleaner. They talk about children buying alcohol. They have everything in place so that it doesn't happen. They're selling alcohol between 10 and 10, so there's nobody going to be lingering there or any children lingering there. And since they've been there, the police have been patrolling a lot more, and I feel a lot more safer. And I do live there within 2 blocks of the 7-Eleven, so I know what I'm talking about. And before, there was no presence of police that much, and now there is. So I really am in favor of them. Thank you.
One Kaur, and followed by Paul Visconti.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paula Grimwell. I'm the current franchisee of the 7-Eleven store on 3201 North Broadway. We're here at this location since July 2009, and we're struggling with our business, and our merchandise sales have not shown us the numbers where we can support our expenses. I would like to update everyone on how we have helped change the corner from nightmare to likelihood. This place was empty for years. This used to be a place where people dreaded walking down to. Since 7-Eleven opened, we have totally turned the corner around. Now we have plenty of lighting inside and outside of the store. We have 24-hour surveillance cameras being monitored by a third-party security company that we pay a significant amount to every month. They watch over the Eatlake side of the street and all of the parking lot and all of the inside, of course. The police is always there. We offer them free sodas and coffees and clean restrooms, and we have not had one incident of violence in this area. As a result, when we get the license, the store sales pick up. We already have 5 employees, and we're looking forward to hiring more employees without any credit. Thank you.
Thank you. Paul Visconti, followed by Steve Caston.
Hello, I'm Paul Visconti. I am a resident of Lincoln Heights. I'm also on the neighborhood council board. I would like to voice my support for 7-Eleven. I think since the store is open, it's really brightened up the corner. It's been a positive effect in the neighborhood. I think the owners have been very responsible and have done their due diligence with the neighborhood council. And being that they're abiding by the conditions, I think it's, I totally support it. Thank you.
Steve Caston, followed by Joe Anderson.
My name is Steve Caston. I've been in business in Lincoln Heights on North Broadway for over 40 years. My address is 2718 North Broadway. I'm writing a letter, actually I'm submitting a letter in support of the 7-Eleven store 3201 North Broadway in Lincoln Heights in their application to obtain a beer and wine license. By opening their store several years ago, they transformed a former vacant store into a busy, well-needed store in our community. The former store bakery had moved out years before 7-Eleven occupied their space. The current operators of the 7-Eleven store have done everything asked of them, such as buying a beer and wine license already in the First Councilmatic District. They did not add or introduce a new license into the community. They've limited the hours that they'll sell beer and wine. They'll not sell individual cans or bottles of beer. The local owner, the franchisee at 7-Eleven, provides jobs and a store needed for people to shop locally. As a business person in Lincoln Heights for over 40 years, and as the president of the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce, I know of the need to help to keep businesses in business. The Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors formally voted to approve the issuance of a beer and wine license to 7-Eleven store. We have a lot of vacant store space in our business corridor. We do not need another business going out of business.
Thank you, sir. Joe Anderson, followed by Richard Macias.
Hello, I'm Joe Anderson, and I'm a resident of Los Angeles. I worked for 7-Eleven, but I'm here today as a friend of the Gray Walls at 7-Eleven, which is a company I'm proud to work for. I get to work with many franchisees, and right here you have community participants, community leaders. They've given money, product, time to anyone who ever asked anything of them. They've been dedicated and proactive with the local schools, neighborhood councils, and everything. They are, in my opinion, community leaders. They're someone that I personally look up to, and I just want to let you know that you can feel good about a decision to support them today. Thank you.
And if you believe that somebody has already said what you were going to say, feel free to yield your time. Now we're going to go to Mr. Richard Macias, followed by Mario Maruco. Sorry. Sir.
Mr. President, I'm Richard Macias. I live right up the hill from 7-Eleven at 2741 Pruitt. And in light of your admonition, I want to make 3 quick points, but the first one's going to be even quicker. I just want to emphasize that the space where 7-Eleven is, for more than 10 years, was a terrible closed eyesore. We don't have that eyesore anymore. Now we have a beautiful business. Number 2, as you know, the 7-Eleven is at the corner of Eastlake and Broadway. For many years, until 2 years ago, across Eastlake from 7-Eleven, I and everybody else could go there and buy liquor, buy beer and wine. Now, we hope we can go across the street and buy the same at 7-Eleven. Our community, Lincoln Heights, is not going to be devastated by being able to turn left to buy beer and wine instead of turning right. The other store didn't present any problem. The 7-Eleven is not going to present a problem either. Lastly, I'm a business person for the last 19 years also in Lincoln Heights. I'm the immediate past president of the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce. We need more great businesses like 7-Eleven. If 7-Eleven had to close, we'd be set back 20 years. That word would get around. We're never going to get a comparable business in our community. Mr. President, we urge you to deny the appeal.
Thank you, sir. Mario Marruco, followed by Ruben Chavez.
Good afternoon. My name is Mario Marrufo. Longtime resident of Lincoln Heights, member of the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council, and a member of the Board of Directors of the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce. I want to make it clear that I'm here in support of the 7-Eleven, and it's important that everybody know that the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council and the Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce are also in support of 7-Eleven. I find it very disturbing that in these economic times we have people trying hard to force the business to fail. Instead, we should be embracing new businesses. I can't help but notice how many empty commercial buildings we have up and down North Broadway due to businesses failing. This franchise has made all recommendations and suggestions that were asked of them, and still they are encountering resistance. I also noticed that the only ones opposed to the 7-Eleven acquiring a beer license is our local church, and I find it very hypocritical. They are so opposed to the 7-Eleven selling beer, yet they had a street festival about 3 weeks ago, and they had no problem selling beer themselves. I am not insensitive to the concern regarding the problems we have associated with alcohol. However, we are punishing the wrong people. Shutting down a 7-Eleven is not going to cure our drinking problems. Anyone seeking to drink will simply go elsewhere to purchase their beer. Another argument I hear is regarding the gang element in the area. Well, let me just say that Lincoln Heights has never been safer. I would hate to think that we are not going to have a gang to our lives. If that's the case, let's shut down all the businesses. So I hope we will do the right thing and grant these people their license. If we do not grant them the license, the only message we'll be sending will be to all the business people at Lincoln Heights, it's not business friendly.
Thank you, sir. Ruben Chavez, followed by Raimundo Hernandez.
My name is Ruben Chavez. I live on 2249 Johnston in here in Lincoln Heights. I've been living in Lincoln Heights on and off since 1948 when my parents bought a home over there where USC Medical Center, the medical school is across from General Hospital. Anyway, what I have to say is humbug to all these people that don't want this license to be granted, for you to grant that license to 7-Eleven. I want that license to be granted to them. You heard one of the gang members that lives there, and the other lady resident that lives just right next door to that place, and how it has cleaned up. Let me tell you, the LAPD, the Hollaback police, they do such a fantastic, I have a hard time sleeping at night, so sometimes I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I drive around. And you know what? I see those police cars without their lights on, driving real slow to see what they can get in terms of the bad guy. I'm so proud of what they do. And since this store opened, remember, we have the gas station across the street, across from the Shell station, the Bolero, they sell liquor. Okay? And so by these other people selling liquor isn't going to maximize more alcoholics. Say we have 100 alcoholics. By them getting that license doesn't mean we're going to get 125 more alcoholics. It's going to be the same 100.
Thank you, sir.
beg you to consider giving them the license, please.
Thank you. Raimundo Hernandez?
Oh, wait a minute. That lady yelled her time to me.
No, I'm sorry. We've already passed that.
Why is that, sir? She did it. You asked, and she stood up and she said she yelled her time.
She didn't state her name at that time, and that kind of goes against the spirit of the...
Well, because she's an older person. She couldn't think fast enough to remember my name. I'll tell you my name.
In that case, go ahead.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you know, it is tough. You remember, I don't know if you were here when we had all those cameras here, when we were trying to get the license for that, the Villas over there. Some of those people that were for that, because they were selling the beer and wine like all other restaurants, some of those people are here against that, against you guys granting them, you know, that's the hypocrisy. And then the first speaker, Mr. Pacheco, says he was in the business. I guarantee you, he didn't quit the business because of his values or his religious beliefs or whatever that caused him to give up that industry. It was for other reasons that were completely remote. But he has you believe that, you know, that he's a victim, you know. And none of these people, I can say humbug to all of us. Thank you.
Luis Valenzuela, and the last speaker will be Jose Aguilar.
My name is Raimundo Hernandez. I grew up on Gay Street, 2446 Gay Street. I went to Gay Street and I went to Lincoln. I'm a member of the Lincoln Heights alumni, which we do utilize the 7-Eleven as a support, and they do donate as whatever we need. But my reference, and I'll make it very short, you know, we're talking about our adolescents, and I'm concerned with our adolescents too. But if you're not 21, how can you buy alcohol? And if you happen to buy alcohol at the 7-Eleven, because I walked through their security, I'm probably one of the few people that walk through their camera surveillance, and when they purchase things, everything is documented. And to me, I saw a security system that is one of the best I've ever seen. Thank you.
Jose Aguilar.
Is that the last speaker you said?
Mr. Jose Aguilar is the last speaker.
Would I be able to say a few words?
Yeah, you need to fill out a card.
I'm sorry, who's all?
Mr. Jose Aguilar is
I want
up.
to be able to say something.
You need to fill out the card and submit it to the gentleman. Oh, you already did? He needs to give it to me. Mr. Jose Aguilar?
I would like to say that card, there's a mistake on it. I am for the appeal, I'm not against it. Please strike that out. And second of all, I would like to state for the record again, you know, what we have here is a lot of issues.
Are you Jose Aguilar? Okay, sir, we need Jose Aguilar to be speaking and nobody else.
You just told me that.
No, Jose Aguilar. Jose Aguilar is the next speaker. Unless Jose Aguilar is willing to yield his time to him, then only Jose Aguilar can speak.
You already spoke once. Yeah. This is
Well, I'm sorry. Are you Mr. Jose Aguilar?
Yeah. He is.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But that was my mistake.
Yeah, there was two. He submitted two cards. So let's go ahead and grant him his 1 minute. And I apologize, but yes, there were two cards. And we'll just give him one. I apologize. Things would happen, and I'm going to give him the 1 minute. The 1 minute starts.
Order. Can you put order in the room? Order, please. All right.
He cannot have two applications.
Yeah.
Look, this guy spoke twice.
That's cheating.
And there's no objections there, so. I know when my time starts.
But I'm an honest person and you're not.
Actually, point of clarification. Thank you. I was just clarified. Yeah, we are not going to be able to yield the time to you because you have already spoken, and it was a procedural mistake. So, please, I think we've listened to your statements already.
You're allowed somebody to speak twice.
No, but they were speaking for somebody else as well. They yielded the time. But I do thank you, though, and I do apologize for that mix-up. So I think we have So there's no more speakers cards for the item number 3. However,
I didn't have it. You called my name, Luis Valenzuela.
Yeah, Commissioner Lula,
yes, Luis Valenzuela.
Sorry about that. I'm the property owner, 400 Citadel Drive in Los Angeles. I just want to tell you, we've had some major issues and challenges with the property. I think a lot of the community's already voiced those. I don't need to do it again. But clearly, 7-Eleven has made that neighborhood better, clearly better. We've spent a lot of money. We invest a lot of money with 7-Eleven to do that. You know, they're taking an old license, liquor license, and they're agreeing to probably the most stringent mitigating measures that you can impose. That says a lot. That says a lot about the franchisees and about what they're doing. And the other thing that wasn't mentioned in terms of the security system, and even they've got the swipe system. So anyone buying liquor needs a license to swipe. So they've got to identify themselves. So everything's in place. I urge that you sustain the zoning, the CA's decision on granting them the license. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before I proceed, there is another set of speaker cards for item number 4, which is the following items. Now, I'm going to give an opportunity for somebody who thought they were supposed to speak for number 3, but may have a card in number 4 to go ahead and make that correction. So if there's no corrections, then those cards are for item number 4 for the next agenda item. Okay. Given that there are no additional public comments, we are going to go into deliberations and give the commissioners opportunities to ask questions or deliberate the issue.
Excuse me, would I be deprived of the right to say something?
Did you submit a speaker card?
Yes, I did, but I can say it.
Okay, we'll deal with this. What is your name, sir?
Leopoldo Ortiz. I put the paper right in there.
Okay, well.
Robert over.
Okay. Go ahead and make your 1-minute comment. We're going to be looking for your card. 1-minute comment, and then we'll...
Thank you very much. I'll try to be as brief as possible. My name is Leopoldo Ortiz, and I live on 1030 Britannia Street, apartment number 9, within walking distance of Lincoln Park. I'm here representing my grandchildren. I take my grandchildren to the donut shop. I'm against 7-Eleven, by matter of fact.
You're speaking on item number 4, which is the next case, which is the 7-Eleven that's going to go in the park.
Okay,
right?
1 minute.
You can wait for the next item.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't understand what the okay.
No, Leo, we appreciate it. Thank you for coming and thank you for participating. So we're going to take a 2-minute break and then we'll convene for the deliberation. Close volume so that we can continue. So our deliberation is an opportunity for us to ask questions and to talk amongst each other about the case. So I will begin by asking our commissioners if there are any questions that you may have, or I'm also going to give an opportunity for our planning department to offer any additional information that you may want to present to the commissioners. So is there any additional information you might want to present before our deliberation?
Maya Zaitsevsky, planning. The only thing that I would like to add is condition number 17. In Mr. Pacheco's appeal, he noted an error on condition number 17 that I'd like to have corrected if you choose to sustain the decision. And that is in the 5th line. It says operations, alcohol services, and karaoke bar. And this was, I cut and paste this plan approval condition from a restaurant with a karaoke bar that had alcohol services, and I didn't realize it said that. So I would like to just delete and karaoke bar from condition number 17. There's no karaoke bar proposed here.
Thank you. Commissioners? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's just some some of the testimony alluded to that there was closed door meetings or things happened outside of the public hearing process. And what happened was, I held the hearing. I had significant questions about what was presented and what, I couldn't make a decision. Sometimes we make a decision on the spot. I always tell people at the beginning of the hearing it will either be approved, taken under advisement, or denied, and it's further appealable. So what I try to do in my determination letters is have comprehensive notes about what happened at the hearing and my correspondence that I've received, just sort of telling the story of what happened during the time that I had the case and how that affected my decision. So in this case, I think this comes from that I had a conversation with Sergeant Vega from Vice about their change, because they did state at the hearing, I think it was Captain Ortega stated at the hearing that they were opposed to this. They didn't want any more alcohol licenses in the Mullenbeck area. And so then, while it was under advisement, or shortly after that, I still hadn't written my determination letter. I received a letter from Councilman Reyes' office saying they were in support because they were going to purchase the license outside, and then I got an email confirming from Sergeant Vega that they were also in support because they were now purchasing that license. So it's not backdoor, it's all part of the record, it's written. I called Sergeant Vega because I was just I was surprised a little bit that they changed their position, and I just wanted clarification, what it was, so that I could have a comfort level, because I'm the one who has to defend the decision here. They're here, but ultimately it's my decision. And so, he just talked to me about what it is that they look at when they're evaluating these types of uses, and what led him to be his office to be comfortable with it. And so that was helpful, and I put it all in my determination letter. And as far as that there should have been another hearing, or it's in there, and now we're having an appeal because more than one person disagreed with my decision. So now this is all open for the public to comment on.
Thank you.
Thank you. In a very clear way, you answered my first question, because it was apparently issues of transparency and the term backroom deals was mentioned in this hearing. A couple things. It was mentioned about that the conditions in this case, and as applied to the 7-Eleven here, is are, I don't know, not so much, the wrong word is exceptional, but are very strict. In your opinion, how would you compare it to other places? I know that 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. is to me is strict. We've dealt with a lot of liquor licenses cases here. Could you cite a few that,
Well, Maya Sensovsky, for the record, typically, an off-site sale location would have, say a market, or something similar would be 8 a.m. to midnight, 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. I believe they're allowed to sell 7 a.m. to 2 a.m., so we would get applications for hours anywhere in that spectrum, depending on the requirements of the business. So 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. is definitely more restricted than we typically impose or would typically see as a request. And then there's just others, because the plan approval after a year, that's really hard. It costs a lot of money for them to file a plan approval. It's required, it's almost like filing a new case, that's strict, but the community was very concerned about this, and I don't want to be responsible for having permitted a use like this that's goes unchecked. So I required a 1-year plan approval, and I only gave them a 3-year grant. Usually the grants are at least 5 years. The police substation, they weren't all my ideas, but they were, negotiated with the council office and LAPD. But they really, as a cumulative sort of thing, 41 conditions is a lot more than you would typically see on a store.
Okay, that's kind of not the sense, but just looking at this and looking at the history of cases here. A few things. issue of alcohol, substance abuse, and youth is very important to me. What we have is a community-wide problem when dealing with alcoholism and substance abuse in our youth. Obviously, we need to change the cultural norms, which, in my opinion, tend to start from the home. But a neighbor and a neighbor and a neighbor form a community. But we also need to have exceptions where, I'm not a prohibitionist, so I don't believe that we can outlaw liquor and just, ban it from our community entirely. This is unfortunately, kind of in my opinion, were errors that were made 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago from a planning viewpoint to allow this, okay? But in due sense, there is some leadership and some accountability from this franchise, and also I think the testimony of Los Angeles Police Department, which is trusted to enforce the law here, is important to me. I'd like to see exceptions in terms of admissions. That's what I see here. To be strict, 1 year, 3-year grant. That's to me an exception. I'd like to see that leadership. I want to see it make it work. I'd like to also see, but at the same time, there's other locations that are problem locations. Simply, many times it's been where we need to enforce a lot of people are vigilant with other problem locations. That places that sell the minor. The problem is they can sell the minor once, get a violation, and accumulate. It's very difficult to be on top of it, but we need those other locations where we need to spend our resources. I'm very concerned at how we spend our resources for law enforcement. We don't have so many officers and have only so many time, and we spend a lot of time in court. A lot of time writing reports because my brother's one. But I think that we have an exceptional case here, and we'll take these cases very lightly. If anybody knows how here in this commission how we treated on liquor license applications. So I'm making a different stand, and this time I think to deny that. I tend to move in the direction of denying the appeal. Other commissioners have some points.
This is Commissioner Gal. I was wondering if an LAPD representative is available.
Nope.
I'm interested in this LAPD substation and drop-in center. I know that there's attempts within the police department to work on a community policing model, and I'm interested to learn a little bit more about what role you see this plays in your department.
First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Austin Fernald. I'm the senior lead for the Lincoln Heights area. And the drop-in center, I will say, we did have a drop-in center some years ago. We no longer use that term drop-in center. We do not, what people got used to with the drop-in center is that we would be there so many hours a day. We no longer do that. So I think the term drop-in center is probably unfair to use. We do not have a drop-in center anymore. So the term is as it stands. So maybe you can ask the question, we do go to the store, officers do go to the store, but not in the terms, I think maybe as you understand a drop-in center as we used it in the past, where we'd be there for probably 2 to 3 hours, guaranteed, every other day or so.
So my question, Mr. Commissioner Gal, is regarding, they are providing a 200 square foot space dedicated to LAPD. So if you can explain what role that would play in assisting LAPD.
Well, the way I interpret this then is that it is an opportunity for officers to go there to have their coffee at night, use their restrooms, but not to do reports, and not to sit down and do reports there. We would not park our car there and spend a lengthy amount of time there. Just wouldn't do that.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers your question, ma'am.
It does answer my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Officer Colonel, are you the senior lead officer in here?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay, so you're in charge of all you're where the cars go. Explain the role of the senior lead officer.
Right. Yes, sir. as a senior lead officer for the Lincoln Heights area, in which this store is in, I'm responsible for the community liaison between the community and the police department. I've been in the department almost 30 years now, and of those 30 years I've been in Hollenbeck, which is the Lincoln Heights area, since 1984. I have quite a rapport with the community, both sides of the aisles here, that both for and against it. I've worked with them. I know these are good people on both sides here. They certainly have their strong opinions, but they, as a community or as a senior lead, my job is to work with the community, no matter what their issues are, and try to resolve their long-term problems. Exactly, not short-term, not because you have a single radio call. The gang issues, the ABC issues, anything long-term is my responsibility.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right.
This is Commissioner Gallo. I'd like to speak to my comments. Looking through these documents, one of the things that we like to see on this commission is that there's community outreach done, and there was efforts to engage neighboring residents as well as the stakeholders, the neighborhood council, or different entities that represent the neighborhood. And seeing that that was done is important for us. And within this packet, there are multiple letters from different stakeholders, as well as there was testimony by residents that are abutting this property. So that's important to us. The second thing is we hear CUP cases, and we understand that there is a problem with alcohol and the impacts that it has on the community. So it's really important for us that we take these cases with a lot of consideration, because we know that we want to live in safe neighborhoods, and we understand that you want your neighborhood to be safe. So it is important to us that we see that there isn't going to be any increases in licenses, and that's something that LAPD has recommended and something that the council office has recommended. And these CUP cases give us an opportunity to add conditions, to regulate how alcohol is served, and those are opportunities that we want. We like to see old licenses come up to have more restrictions in the way that they're served. And we see this process as a way for our community members to voice what they would like to see to make sure that their children and their neighborhoods are safe. So with that in mind, reviewing a lot of the applicant volunteered conditions, we see limited hours, we see required trainings, we see increased security, we see technology that requires the swiping of IDs so that alcohol is not given based on just a visual ID. We know that they have to ask for ID, but these are the kind of requirements that we want all establishments to have, but they're not enforced in all establishments because they have not gone through this process that we've been doing more recently to regulate alcohol sales. There's a 1 year review in place to make sure that all the conditions listed are being followed and complied with. There's a 3-year review. If there's any reports, police reports of negligence or problems with the property, it will be documented and brought to the hearing at that time where it can be reevaluated. That's important for us because we don't want to forget about a neighborhood and just let it go for 15, 20 years. 3 years is, it goes by pretty quickly, but we also know that within 3 years things could happen, and it gives an opportunity for the community to document that. So if this is a problematic site, the community should be documenting it so that they have proof within the 3-year mark. So these new conditions are important that community members can activate themselves to be able to monitor these type of alcohol sales. And the last point I would like to make is that It's really important that businesses, especially if they sell alcohol, have a really good relationship with LAPD. That's something we want to encourage. We want LAPD to know the establishment well enough that if there's any problems, that there's communication that occurs. And from the testimony, it seems that there is already an established relationship in creating a space for LAPD to use clean restrooms and have some food on their shifts, encourages them to come in more, and more visibility of LAPD decreases crime. So that is also a very important factor in making our community safe. So those conclude my current comments.
I just want to quickly add, I think Commissioner Nagao said it very well, whether people agree or disagree, but the conditions that we put into place, are different than conditions that were 5 years ago. We're becoming much more strict with regards, and they become the new standard. At the same time, how far do you push? Because we have to strike. So I know it's a cliche to strike that balance with business, because we do want local employment. We want local businesses to thrive. I'm not a particularly big fan of franchises, but on the other hand, I'm a realist and know that, we can't have the days of the main street, but we gotta have both, I think. And so these conditions restrictively become the standard, and we need to really go after a lot of the other places where the conditions are violated and bring them to fore so we can reimpose, or sometimes they go out of business when there's a significant amount of violations, and that's where we work with ABC, which is really the big government body in this area.
This is Commissioner Angulo. I think my fellow commissioners have already stated it eloquently. What I can say is that I am a resident of Lincoln Heights. I take these issues very seriously, especially issues that bring more, I would say, alcohol permits into the neighborhood. So I was very focused and intent in reviewing all these documents and reviewing the supporting documents provided from the community hearings and also the community the petitions that were gathered. Those are very important for me, but I think the most important aspect of all of this for me is that whenever we have an opportunity to remove a permit from either distressed property or another property who may not necessarily have that relationship with the community, or that relationship with the Los Angeles Police Department, or that relationship with the council member, I would. And this is a clear, I think that is what's happening here. We're removing one permit from a property that may not necessarily have that good connection with the neighborhood, and giving it to another property that does have that relationship with the neighborhood. So with that said, I'm willing to entertain any motions.
This is Commissioner Gal. I'd like to move to deny the appeal, delete karaoke for condition number, karaoke bar in condition number 17 on the 5th line, and move to sustain in part due to change in condition number 4, the zoning administrator's decision for the approval of the conditional use permit to allow the sale and dispensing of beer and wine for off-site consumption in conjunction with the existing 2,088 square foot 7-Eleven market in the QC4 1VL CDO zone, and consider the environmental clearance mitigated negative declaration ENV 2008-1992 MND REC1 to reflect the independent judgment of the lead agency and that potential environmental impacts are mitigated to a less than significant level.
Thank you. A motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Nagao?
Aye.
Commissioner Marquez?
Aye.
And Commissioner Angulo?
Aye.
And the motion is carried.
Thank you. And thank you everyone who attended. I know it's a long process, and I know that you guys are taking time from your busy schedules, but I appreciate this community input, and it's very important to us. So now we're going to move on to the second case. We're going to take just about a minute break, and we're going to go with item number 4. 1A, that's in Council District number 1. The plan is in Northeast Los Angeles, and the location of this item is in 3724 East Mission Road. And we are going to begin with the Planning Department report.
Good evening, Maya Setsevsky. I was the zoning administrator of record. I actually dismissed the conditional use for the sale of beer and wine for off-site consumption in conjunction with the new 24-hour convenience market. I did, however, approve the conditional use permit to allow 24 hours of operation daily in lieu of the commercial corner limitation of hours from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. otherwise permitted in the M1-1 zone. The public hearing was held January 26, 2011 in City Hall. It was a very similar hearing to the one we just had. It was a month later, a lot of overlap in the people who attended the hearing. Same applicant, same representative, or maybe not the same applicant, but the same franchise. They stated that convenience food is not available in the area. This will provide much needed service. It will revitalize the shopping center. 7-Eleven was providing $150,000 in improvements to the facade. They stated it would be a clean and safe store. Police officers frequent the site. It would help generate sales tax and create jobs. They stated 7-Eleven to reach an agreement with a laundromat and the donut shop owner that they were displacing in the shopping center. They stated they use high-tech security, will not sell beer and wine to minors. In opposition, statements were made such as, I support new businesses, but do not support an ABC license at this location. There are already 3 ABC licenses in the census tract. The site is close to sensitive uses, including schools and rehabilitation facility. There's violent crime in the neighborhood. A murder took place within 200 feet of the site. There's problems with public intoxication in the neighborhood. The area is saturated with ABC licenses. Applicant will be replacing 2 businesses, the store and the laundromat. It's across the street from Lincoln Park. There's been 7 shootings in 1 year. The petition was submitted with 1,000 signatures in opposition. There's too many 7-Elevens in the area. The council office stated they were opposed to the beer and wine sales, but they weren't opposed to hours of operation. I don't believe LAPD came to that hearing. I'm not positive, but she stated that they were also opposed to the sale of beer and wine, but they were not opposed to the hours. And then I took the case under advisement. During that advisory period, LAPD submitted a letter of opposition. Actually, let me take a step back. At the hearing, I stated I was really concerned about the location of this market selling beer and wine because it was across from a park and a lot of sensitive uses right next door, and that they had their problem with crime. So it was a little bit different than the prior one, especially with the park across the street. So I took it under advisement. LAPD sent a letter saying that this would just exacerbate crime in the area, especially gang-related. On February 18th, 2011, applicant submitted a letter of withdrawal for the request for beer and wine. Likely I wouldn't have approved it, but they beat me to the punch by withdrawing the application. So it's not, I just want to make it very clear, the sale of beer and wine is not before you tonight. The appeal has a lot of language in it that they would like you to limit, put a covenant on the property that no alcohol sales can be sold there. That's just not possible. We can't preclude alcohol applications at this site. I would imagine any zoning administrator would look at it in the similar way that I did with this type of attendance at a hearing and would feel that it's not an appropriate location, but we can't require any alcohol-related conditions because this isn't even an alcohol case at this point. But besides that, so I just had before me, after they withdrew the request for beer and wine, I just had the hours of operation, and I did not have a problem with it being open 24 hours a day. It's typical for how 7-Eleven operates, and I approved it and recommend that you deny the appeal.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, are there any questions for the zoning administrator?
Commissioner, I just made a request to Commissioner. Well, I have an emergency call, so I'll take 1 minute.
Okay, we're going to take a 1-minute pause for an emergency call.
Sorry.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and continue with the meeting. Commissioner?
Thank you.
And again, we thank you for your time, and we're going to try to do this efficiently with the time constraints that we have, because we do have to give up the space fairly soon. So with that, I thank you for the presentation. Commissioners, do we have any questions again for the zoning administrator?
This is Commissioner Gao, not at this time.
Thank you. We're going to begin by having an appellant make a 4-minute presentation on why he opposes 24-hour. Now, again, let me be clear here that the issue here is not whether the 7-Eleven is going to be at that place, at that location, or not. It's a by right issue. They are released. The question here is whether we should allow the 7-Eleven to be open 24 hours. So please, all the comments that I hear from all of you should focus on why it should or should not stay open 24 hours. And if it's not, I will reserve the judgment to end your presentation. So with that, we're going to begin with the appellant. And there's 2 appellants here, and it's 4 minutes total. John Menchaca is a main appellant, and Karina Andrade is also. So Karina Andrade is going to take the 4 minutes to make the presentation. That's right. No PowerPoint?
Not today, didn't bring the laptop. My name is Karina Andrade. I am a representative for the East Los Angeles Remarkable Citizens Association. We brought one of our pictures here with all of our consumers. We service persons with developmental disabilities. And as you can imagine, these are some of the most vulnerable people that you can imagine. Some of them have cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. They were born with developmental disabilities. So Eatlake is here to let you know that we do not want a 24-hour 7-Eleven next to our business because of the population that we service. But most importantly, because of the public safety for the people that live in Lincoln Heights and work in Lincoln Heights. I brought some pictures today that I hope you can take a look deeply later. All the pictures were taken today. So this is not something from the past or something from before. These pictures were taken today. We believe that Selig Place is an unsafe street, and with a 24-hour 7-Eleven, we are going to have increased traffic at night when the lights are off. And you might think we have good lighting on Selig Place, but we do not. And if you were ever to go at night on that street, you would notice yourself the lighting is not good, mostly because the trees have not been trimmed by the city. The sidewalks also are pretty bad. Even during daytime, people have to walk looking down where they're walking because of the roots of the trees that have uplifted all the cement. And also the city is not taking care of them. So that's one of the main reasons we think it will create a danger to people that will visit 7-Eleven at night where there's no lighting and where they may be walking on Selig Place and cause an accident for themselves. A second slide, or actually poster that I have, has to do with gang activity in Lincoln Heights, which we know is present, and the fact that there is a motel within 75 feet of the proposed location for this 7-Eleven. I've got some pictures here. I couldn't begin to tell you what they say because I don't know gang language, but there's a presence there on Selig Place. We constantly have to be cleaning up our walls, painting them over. If you look a little more deeply, you'll see that we even have to paint our trees white because there's gang graffiti on our trees as well. So what does this mean to us? We think that there's obviously a presence. We don't think gang members come in the daytime and do their graffiti. We think they do it at night. And having a 7-Eleven open 24 hours will just provide them a new hangout place where we think more graffiti will be present in the area. The motel that's here is literally across the street from the proposed location. Now, maybe at the beginning there are no issues, but 9 months from now when they're applying for a liquor license, and they probably will, we can have issues with solicitation. A lady of the night can rent the room for the night for $40, walk across the street to 7-Eleven and wait for somebody to show up. And they will get customers. Just like 7-Eleven is hoping to get customers in the middle of the night, so this lady's going to hope that they get customers. Okay? My last slide is, I went to the LAPD website, Hollenbeck Division, and I printed information from crimemapping.com, which provides statistics for crimes in the area. And within a 1 mile radius of our location, there were 300 crimes in the last 6 months. Okay? That's something that is present now, and it will increase if there's a 7-Eleven there open 24 hours. I also went to the 7-Eleven website, and I went to the store locator, put in our zip code, and there's at least 5 local 7-Elevens that are open 24 hours. Okay? This is based on 7-Eleven's criteria for sending me to a 7-Eleven that's open 24 hours. There is no need for a third one in Lincoln Heights. On a personal note, I have lived in Lincoln Heights, and I wonder what need do we have for a third 7-Eleven to be open 24 hours. Now, if you tell me they're trying to open up across USC, where I studied, and people stay up till 3, 4 in the morning, I can understand that. Because I've been up at 3 in the morning, and I would love to cross the street and go buy a Slurpee. But what mom in Lincoln Heights is going to want to be up at 3 in the morning, drive to a 24-hour location? If they do, I would tell them, there's one on Daly and Main, and there's one on Eastlake and Broadway that they can go to. Thank you.
Thank you, and your visuals are very much appreciated. Now we're going to hear from the applicant. And again, I have 2 speaker cards, and there's only 4 minutes total, so you can decide how you want to divide that time. Pedro Carrillo and Babak Bardin.
Mr. President and members of the Commission, Pedro Carrillo, again representing 7-Eleven Inc., with reference to the convenience market at 3724 Mission Road. You're absolutely right. Today is to speak to the issue of 24 hours. I want to commend the young lady before on her presentation. That's exactly all the reasons that you mentioned in the previous appeal on why you should deny something. And she's absolutely correct. If this was 10 or 20 years ago or 30 years ago, when lighting and conditions and creating, being part of the community, was not a requirement, then I think she may have a point. But 7-Eleven's in a growth mode, and it's considering a lot of new sites all over Southern California. And they're establishing a new format. And they're mandating from their franchisees community involvement. And they're demanding franchises are supposed to be a fit for the community. And corporate America is finally realizing that if we don't create small islands and beacons in this community and create safe havens, that our format won't exist and will go under. 7-Eleven's made those adjustments. We've heard various residents and organizations and different people of the area speak to that issue. The same dedication that 7-Eleven has placed before you on the previous appeal, they're willing to do here. They've already spoken to residents, organizations, employees of the area, who are actually looking forward to having an established store and property improvements that accompany the development of the store. In fact, we met with the WorkSource, the Department of Parks and Rec, the LA Skills Center, the International Institute of LA, Aztec Rising, Lincoln Heights Chamber of Commerce, all organizations that are looking forward to the job creation, a franchisee opportunity, and community reinvestment. And that is what people should rally around, demanding that 7-Eleven provide that. Because we can complain about how the city has or hasn't done things, but we shouldn't blame those issues on corporate America when they're willing to invest and bring dollars to make a difference. In addition, just so you know, we've provided this information to you. 7-Eleven has invested in canvassing over 1,000 square foot radius surrounding the 7-Eleven site. We've gathered over 500 support cards from surrounding residents and students who want to know how they can get a job. From people who say, maybe if the cops were here a little longer, maybe if the lighting was better, maybe if we had the security features that now are currently mandated by 7-Eleven Corporation, maybe they could be part of the solution and not the problem. And again, these are all things you have to consider. But I would ask that you take into consideration the possibility of something positive, and that you consider the zoning administrator's report, and that you deny this appeal. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, was that 4? 1:30? Okay, so 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Babak Bardi from Eatlake, and I'm the designer for the project. And in behalf of the property owners, I'm going to state the following. We believe that the store will be an added benefit to the surrounding neighborhood, which provides a place for residents, employees, students, and commuters to meet their convenience need. Opening this 7-Eleven is an opportunity to providing much needed service in the area. Furthermore, it would be an opportunity to provide jobs for the local residents and revitalizing the look and feel of the shopping center, as well as more tax revenue for the city. The property owners are willing and committed to improve facade and the building by craft architectural style look, which meets the Lincoln Heights design overlay criteria. They committed to invest in substantial amount in such property improvements to ensure that the entire center is an attractive and safe center for the customers. We are looking forward to open it, as the owner stated, we are looking forward to open a store with much regard for safety and customer service, as it's shall preserving and enhancing the neighborhood, providing elements such as proper lighting and surveillance system are some example of such consideration.
Thank you, sir.
And there's one thing that
Just remember, I have to give the same amount of time to the other person.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. Thank you. Appreciate the presentations. Now we're going to go ahead and hear from the council district representative, who is Guadalupe Duran Medina.
Good evening, Guadalupe with Councilmember Ed Reyes again. Yes, in regards to this case, we understand only the 24-hour request is before us. Our office is in support of that request. However, I do appreciate the comments that were being brought up by the folks here today and everyone that's going to be speaking hereafter as well. I understand that some of the conditions that are in this 24-hour request are for lighting. I know lighting was one of the things that the young woman brought up, that there's a lack of. So there is lighting requests with shields so that it doesn't go into the residential. So that's an important one. There's also a log of complaints condition as well in the conditions. And that, again, is something that is important because there'll be information there if they need to respond to complaints, and there should have someone designated to address them. And if they don't, that's, again, going to be a negative on them. There's many other conditions included in terms of loitering that they need to discourage. It's prohibited. So that's information in terms of what they were saying. Ladies of the night, loitering there, waiting for customers. We hope that helps to deflect that. And again, having that communication with LAPD is going to be key. And they've started that communication. And if there is, if they see that activity, they need to deflect it. If they don't, address it, I mean, that's going to come up. We're willing to, if 7-Eleven is willing to consider a review on this one. I don't think that's in the conditions. It's a 5-year grant on this. There's a 5-year grant recommended. We wouldn't be opposed to a review in 2 years to see how things are going. And again, I pose that for 7-Eleven if they want to consider it, and that way we can keep monitoring on the hours. But we see it, we hope it becomes more eyes on the street by them being open 24 hours. So instead of it being vacant or closed, we see it being more eyes on the street. And so hopefully, that is what occurs. Again, I put it out there for consideration. But again, we are in support of the zoning administrator determination. And if there's anything additional that can be added, we will.